skaters, we are taking a look at the brand new Wowgo AT2 Plus today. I reviewed the Wowgo AT2 a while back and it's currently still available for under $1,000, which I think is still pretty good value even considering the older technology in it. The Wowgo AT2 Plus is the upgraded version and comes in at $1,229 for the standard AT setup and $1,349 for the 2-in-1 version that has both the AT wheels and a set of cloud wheels. So let's dive in and take a closer look at the specs and features of this new e-board, the Wowgo AT2 Plus. Let's also keep in mind that I have a pre-production demo board which has some slight variations to the production boards, but I will address these throughout the video so you know exactly what to expect. The Wowgo AT2 Plus is for your everyday e-skater. It's for those commuting to and from work or school and want a comfortable, fast and reliable way to travel. It's one of the best alternatives to sitting in peak hour traffic or being packed onto public transport. It's good enough out of the box to be ridden for many miles, but it also allows you to tinker around a little bit and make it something of your own, if that's what you're into. The Wowgo AT2 Plus has the same deck as its predecessor, a 38-inch fiberglass, bamboo and maple composite deck that offers a slight flex without being too bouncy. Now this flexiness reduces the amount of impact when riding over cracks, saving your feet and legs from having to do all the hard work. You'll feel a lot more stable with this type of deck and you won't get as fatigued, so you can ride for longer periods of time between needing to take breaks. It has a slight drop down and concave shape that creates the perfect molds for your feet to settle into. I found that this helped me in a couple of different ways. First, the raised edges of the deck meant I didn't have to apply as much pressure as I usually would in order to make a turn. And because my feet felt locked into the board, I was confident that my feet weren't slipping around, so I could focus on the road ahead without needing to dip my eyes down to check my feet were in the right position. This is a small thing, but it gives you a lot more confidence when riding because you're more aware of your surroundings, meaning you're less likely to have a fall. On top of the deck is some shock-absorbing grip tape that is nice and spongy. This stuff is awesome and you'll find it on most electric skateboards these days. It just does a good job of soaking up the small vibrations that naturally occur from riding around, again reducing the rate of fatigue so you can ride for longer. The enclosure again is the same as the AT2, but that's a good thing. It's a flexible case with separated battery cells which accommodates for the deck's flexibility without doing any damage to the battery. My pre-production board came with 95A barrel and cone bushings, which had some issues at the manufacturing warehouse where the bushings ended up being a bit too soft, so Wowgo decided to change them. In production, the Wowgo AT2 Plus will be rocking 10.5-inch double kingpin trucks with 97A double barrel bushings on the rear and 95A double barrel bushings on the front. The bushings I had were super soft, and even when I tightened them up, I had still plenty of movement in the trucks. I thought this was going to be an issue, but I was surprisingly steady at high speeds. I was able to get a really nice carve going at lower speeds and hold steady when riding at 40 plus kilometers an hour. I'll get my hands on the new bushings and update my thoughts on the website. You can find a link to that in the description below. There is one thing that bugs me about these trucks, and it's that the two pins on the trucks are really close together. So much so that you can't get a traditional T-tool around the board side pin. You have to use a spanner or a shifter. The only other thing is that you are limited to the standard size of bushings and aren't able to use any fat bushings because they rub up against the other pins. The standard option for the Wowgo AT2 Plus comes with 175mm pneumatic AT wheels, and you have the option of upgrading to the 2-in-1 that allows you to also get a set of the 120mm cloud wheels. The AT wheels are more like urban terrain wheels. I did ride a little bit on the grass, but it was a tad slippery due to it had just rained recently and the lack of proper off-road tires and the loose trucks. Aside from that, the AT wheels are amazing on paved roads and footpaths. They easily roll over bumps and cracks, so you don't have to fear getting a stone jammed under your wheel, which is something regular skaters know all too well about. The motors you see here are only on the demo boards, these red ones. These little red motors you see here are only on the demo boards. Production boards will have completely black motors and will look far nicer than these. As for the specs, the Wago AT2 Plus is running dual belt drive motors, each with a 1300 watt rated power output. They give the AT2 Plus a top speed of 31 miles per hour or 50 kilometers an hour, and I have no doubts it can hit that. Out on my ride, I pushed it to 27 miles per hour or 43 kilometers an hour before chickening out. And I was still accelerating before I backed off, so you crazy e-skaters out there will hit that top speed, no worries. The hill climbing ability is spec'd at 25 to 30%. I went at my regular testing hill and the AT2 Plus did really well. At the steepest point of 13%, I was idling at around 15.5 miles per hour, which is 25 kilometers an hour, and it held that pretty steady all the way through. Now that's pretty standard, and I don't think many of you will have any troubles riding up hills on this e-board. The best thing about belt drives is that you have the option to swap and change with any type of wheels you like, so long as you pair them with the right pulleys and belts. They're great for changing up the ride style and keeping it fresh. The Wago AT2 Plus is packing a 10S 4P 604 watt-hour battery and is set to reach a range of up to 18 miles, which is 30 kilometers with the AT wheels and 28 miles or 45 kilometers with the Cloud wheels. Now I'm down to about 3 out of 5 bars and I rode 18.5 miles, which is 13.7 kilometers. So that would land me right on the 18 mile, 30 kilometer mark if I had have kept riding to the ends. You do get a little less performance out of the bottom end of the battery, so there is that to consider. However, I weigh 198 pounds or 90 kilos. I also climbed a fair few hills and I battled the wind all the way home, so there is also that to think about. At this point, I think the marketed range is quite fair. We get a Hobbywing ESC with the AT2 Plus, which I love. It's smooth and reliable. I always felt like I had control over the acceleration and braking. I didn't feel any jolting, and the board responded exactly how I expected it to when I hit the thumb wheel in either direction. It has a fairly hard takeoff, nothing to throw you off if you're prepared, but like all e-boards, if you're not ready for it, you'll be on the ground pretty fast. As for the braking, I was able to come to a complete stop within a safe distance without the risk of being thrown forward. Paired with the Hobbywing ESC is a Hobbywing remote that we've seen from Wago in the past. I think it's actually the exact same remote as the original AT2. It's a nice matte and rubbery black material which feels premium and sits in the hand comfortably. It has a thumb wheel up the top to control the acceleration and braking, and a single button on the side that you use to make all your settings changes. A single press changes the speed mode when you're not accelerating, and a double click sets the board direction to either forward or reverse. Unfortunately, there is no cruise control, although I almost never use it anyway. But the board does turn on automatically when you turn the remote on, which is one of my favorite features because you can just throw your board down, flick on the remote and go. You don't have to awkwardly fumble around underneath the deck looking for the power button, because I don't know about you, but when I have to turn the board on at the deck, I always seem to check the wrong side first. The Wago AT2 that I received had a set of screw-on tail lights that are quite good. You can set them to solid or flashing modes, and they are micro USB rechargeable. I'm not sure if they come in the box standard. If they do, that is some great value, but if not, I would recommend getting them. Otherwise, the alternative would be a good pair of shred lights if you're looking for some e-skate lights. There's a little handle in the box that can be attached to the truck's top plate. You could get away with installing that at either the front or the back, but I will put it at the front because it's lighter to carry that way. Overall, the Waogo AT2 Plus is a promising electric skateboard. Aside from the truck's dilemma, I rate the Waogo AT2 Plus. It's ideal for commuters looking to get out of the peak hour traffic or off packed public transport and ride to work on their own terms with a smile on their face. I also think it gives riders ample opportunities to tinker with and make it an e-board that suits their exact riding style. It can be something for anyone. That's it. That's my Waogo AT2 Plus review. I hope I've helped you on your journey to find the best electric skateboard that's right for you. It helps me out a lot if you use the links in my description, and they also get you a nice little discount if you do and use my discount codes. So thanks in advance for using them. It would also mean the world to me if you shared it with someone that needs to see this. The more people we get e-skating, the more fun everyone can have. Lastly, like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you want to see more electric skateboard reviews. Thanks for watching, e-skaters. Ride safe out there. I'll see you soon.